Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Hey, Rob.
Oh, hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is great.
I meant you.
I was here waiting for you.
Oh, it's my bad. Okay. I was napping in the chair.
That's okay. You've been busy. I got a question from a listener.
Oh, those listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And
listeners.
Oh, we do have some episodes around this, but we're going to do another one right now. What's the difference between natural sugar and added sugar? Do they affect my body in the same way?
I like that. That sounds like one of my questions.
I know. Exactly. I thought you'd like that too.
So tell me, what's the difference? Oh, it's not an easy answer, is it?
Well, we did an episode on all the different names of sugar. Do you remember that one?
It was a long time ago, like episode 25 or something.
We'll link it in the show notes.
Way back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because people think, is this sugar okay? Or is this the kind I'm supposed to avoid? Don't you wonder that sometimes?
Well, just yesterday, I was at my parents' house, and what was I eating? I was eating something, and my mom said, oh, it's really high in sugar. But I said, well, it's natural sugar, so it's not like it's added sugar. It was grapes or something. It was like fruit, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was grapes, probably.
Probably, yeah. Or raisins. I don't know. There was something I was eating, and she's like, oh, yeah, they're good, but they're really high in sugar. But, yeah, it's kind of that same idea, right? Where people think, oh, you can't eat fruit because there's sugar in it, and I'm not supposed to eat sugar because sugar's bad, so therefore I can't eat fruit or anything that has sugar in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of people do think that I can't have potatoes and I can't eat grapes or watermelon because it has sugar.
And there's probably some current diet. I don't know which one because I don't follow any of them, but I'm sure there's some current diet that's one of their things is you got to cut out anything that has sugar in it and only eat like whatever they say, right? Which just complicates things for people because it's like, well, I read it here. It says here, this is what I'm supposed to do and why and blah, blah, blah. But it just adds to the confusion. So,
yeah, no, totally. I think many of the diets in the past too, like Weight Watchers and other diets, there's limits on fruit and high sugar foods. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole bunch of different types of sugar. So we've got simple sugar, so simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates.
Okay.
All right. And with the simple carbohydrates, they're basically just chains of carbons. So carbohydrate actually means carbohydrate. So water and carbon. And so it's just a whole bunch of links of water and carbon.
Oh, I see.
It's like hydrated carbon.
Oh, interesting. I never knew that.
I know.
Huh.
The root cause. Cool, eh?
Yeah, no doubt.
So the simple sugars, there's basically saccharides, right? So that's the chemical form. And there's a monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharides.
Okay. This is going to be a chemistry class.
It's kind of like the fat one, right? When we did fats and all the different fats. And yeah. So for instance, the milk sugar in dairy products is...
Don't look at me for the answer.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You've heard of it. We talk about this type of intolerance all the time.
Well, it's lactose.
Exactly.
But, I thought you wanted me to tell you if it was a mono or a poly or a...
No, it's a disaccharide because it's made of two sugars.
Okay.
It's made with glucose and galactose. And that forms lactose. And it's a disaccharide.
All right.
And so the lactase enzyme cleaves apart those two sugars. And then you
Right.
can digest it.
Right.
And if you don't have much of the lactase enzyme, then it's hard for you to digest it. Then you get a lot of extra water and a lot of gas and bloating.
Perfect.
So that's just an example. And then if you think of bread, when you toast bread and it smells sweet, that's maltose. So that's a disaccharide, and it's made up of 2 glucose molecules together.
And that's in what element of bread?
The flour.
It's in the flour.
Yeah. That's a very good question. That's awesome. And then the next one is sucrose, is table sugar, the white sugar.
I know it.
And it's made of 2 monosaccharides, so glucose and fructose makes sucrose. And so basically the monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, and galactose, and the disaccharides are maltose, sucrose, and lactose. So that's just an idea, like that's a quick chemistry lesson. But the question is, what's the difference between natural sugar and added sugar, and do they affect my body the same way? Yes, they do. But
yes, they do. What?
A sugar is a sugar is a sugar. So it is going to affect your body in the same way.
I see. Okay.
And affect your blood glucose response.
Right.
But if it's a natural sugar in food, for instance, in dairy or fruit, so you think of a piece of fruit, it's naturally packaged in the plant structure, and with that comes other nutrition. So you're getting vitamins, you're getting minerals, you're getting like micronutrients and antioxidants in that food.
Right.
It's Mother Nature's package. And
Mother Nature has a nice package.
When they add sugar to food, they're adding extra sugar. And we know that generally most people have too many sugars in their diet, like too many added sugars.
Right. Okay.
And we want to limit. There is a recommendation from the American Heart Association for women. It's 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day, which is 25 grams or 100 calories of added sugars.
And by added sugar, you don't mean that we're adding it. It's added to whatever product you're eating. So you're looking on the label to see, is that what you mean by added sugar?
That means the sugar, that the table sugar you add to your coffee or tea.
Oh, okay.
It means the added sugars in, for instance, the regular milk is 12 grams of sugar from the lactose in the plain white milk per cup. And chocolate milk is 25 grams. That would be the whole amount in a cup of chocolate milk. It's got 6 teaspoons of added sugar. Sorry, it's not added sugar. Half of that is the lactose. So that's the milk sugar.
So the difference between the white milk and the chocolate milk equals the added sugar.
That's right.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the white milk, the 12 grams of sugar in the white milk, that's natural sugar.
Yes.
From the lactose.
Exactly.
And the chocolate milk has, what did you say, 25 grams?
Yes.
So there's 13 grams difference. So that 13 grams is the added sugar.
Exactly.
That comes from the flavoring and the chocolate and all that.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's right. And just for reference for people, some just common foods that are high in sugar are, well, the sweetened, like the yogurt that has flavor.
Oh, flavored yogurt, big time.
Flavored
big
yogurt.
time.
Most of them, or the stir in, the one with the fruit on the bottom, or just flavored. And then some obvious ones: sugar, cookies, coffee whitener, candy, chocolate, ice cream, honey, molasses, cakes, pies, donuts, jam, jelly, regular pop, maple syrup, fruit canned in syrup, fruit flavored crystals, corn syrup, and sweetened cereals. Those are just like foods that are in our everyday diet that are naturally high in sugar, but they're not whole, minimally processed foods. So those foods are, I would say, use them as a treat, not on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be eating like Fruit Loops every morning
Right.
for breakfast.
Right. Sweetened cereals in there. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we don't want to get people into like, fear of food or restricting every morsel of food, but just in general principles. For instance, if we're teaching people with diabetes about foods that are high in sugar, those are ones that we would say, okay, watch how much you're having, maybe not every day, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely foods that are just naturally high in sugar, but they're not whole minimally processed foods. So I don't recommend restricting or actually taking out fruit, vegetables, and whole grains because of their natural sugar.
Right.
But we can watch how much we're eating. If you do have diabetes or problems with the blood sugar response, or if your blood sugar is too high, then you've got to look at all the different sources of sugar, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. Sorry, I'm yawning here.
So our digestive system and GI tract disassembles all the digestible carbohydrates into simple sugars so they can be absorbed. And the carbohydrates that bypass the digestion, it's like fiber, the indigestible part of plant foods. We've talked a lot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Resistant starch is another one that resists digestion.
Mm-hmm.
And fermentable sugars. So the ones that, if we're lacking the lactase enzyme, for instance, to help break down the lactose, we won't digest that well.
Right.
So I think part of the issue is going into a store and looking at labels.
I was just going to say that. I've learned a lot over the last few years just by reading labels. I've learned a lot about foods. And there's been a few surprises when you read the label. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that this would have this much sugar in it. Like yogurt, for instance, a few years ago, because I used to eat yogurt. That used to be my go-to breakfast, was yogurt and granola, because it sounds healthy. It's kind of like the trendy healthy breakfast.
The health halo of yogurt.
Totally. Well, and granola too, right? I used to buy like the cereal aisle granola, which is usually loaded with sugar and fat. Mm-hmm. But it tastes good. And then the flavored yogurt because it's tasty. And I'd throw some raisins in it and maybe some blueberries. And I'd be like, hey, I'm eating my healthy breakfast. And then I read the label one day and I just about fell over when I saw how much sugar was in it. And then granola too. I'm like, oh my God, like this stuff's not healthy at all. What do you, granola? This is like the same as kids' cereals. This stuff's not healthy. The version I was eating was not the healthy granola. So definitely health halo. And yeah, reading the label, total eye opener.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did that recently too. We did an episode on sodium when I had to sort of like watch my sodium levels, and again, went through, looked at all the different foods that I like to eat, and was blown away at some of the things I discovered about like foods that had high levels of sodium that I would not have thought, without reading the label, I would not have thought that they were like that. So it's good to just get in the practice of reading label, or go through your cupboard at home and just pull some foods out. And it's just good information to know, and you'll remember it. Like you see the same things, you buy the same foods all the time. You'll get to know sort of which ones to steer clear of and which ones are, better health-wise. Mm-hmm. So it's a good practice for sure.
Yeah. And just a quick reminder of like some of the words that you'll find on labels that mean sugar. So,
and this is in the ingredients.
In the ingredients.
Right.
That's right. So added sugars could be dates, syrup, coconut sugar, nectar, fruit juice, fruit concentrate, puree, glucose, fructose, any of the OSE words, those mean sugar.
Any of those words you just said could be the added sugar.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes. High fructose corn syrup could be another one. Maple syrup, honey, sugar, cane syrup, corn syrup. So and then if you think of like a whole date, so if you're going to eat a date, that's like natural sugar, but one whole date is about 3 to 4 teaspoons of sugar.
Right.
Or like sugar cubes, if you think of it that way.
Sure.
So even if it sounds natural, added sugars are processed in the body the same way. So basically, having too much can contribute to, excess calories. And if we were looking at, 25 grams or 6 teaspoons or 100 calories of added sugars over the day, if you're generally getting more than that, that could be contributing to issues like inflammation and damaging blood vessels, altering the gut microbiome, promoting other negative health effects throughout the body. So it's really good to be aware, especially of the added sugars. And, if we have like a sweet tooth, that can drive us to eat more sugars, right?
Totally.
And then that can contribute to energy crashes and cravings and mood swings and possible like IBS, like irritable bowel syndrome and other gut problems. So it's all related. But when there's sugar naturally found in food, like as I mentioned, in some vegetables, in fruits, like whole fruits, in plain dairy, that's good because you're getting some good nutrition from those foods. You're getting...
It's not just the sugar. You're getting the other things as well.
Exactly. If it's a plant food, you're getting the fiber and the whole plant structure. So actually breaking that down and then also it affects the glycemic index. So the rate at how your body absorbs the sugar, and it reduces the blood sugar spike.
Oh, you mean the fiber? Like eating fruit, for instance, that has sugar in it and also fiber. The fiber helps control the rate, you said, at which the body absorbs the sugar.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember we did the one on resistant starch? And looking at, they've done studies and shown that, if you have white pasta, if you've put the leftovers in the fridge and have it in a salad the next day, that actually acts like whole wheat pasta in your gut. Like the glycemic index, it's changed. It's a slower absorption because it has resistant starch.
Interesting.
And the same with potatoes, rice,
yeah.
farro. We talked about farro. That's a whole grain. Quinoa, all those leftover starches that you use the next day can actually be helpful for resistant starch.
And our body needs sugar to like a certain amount of sugar, right? Like we don't want to be like completely like sugar free.
Well, our body's designed to run on glucose. So it is, that's part of our biological destiny. So it's a rough road if you're going to have a no carb diet. I really discourage that because I think it's unsustainable for the long term. And I've seen people, I've had clients that were on keto or a very, very restrictive carb diet that, years ago, and things rebound, or they're having like chronic diseases now. And we don't know if it's from the keto, but like, it's just not that I'm against it for certain circumstances, but in general, like with diet culture and people getting on bandwagons for, trying a new diet to control their weight and fatty liver I've seen from restrictive diets and gout, gallbladder, like removal of the gallbladder. So bile changes, like it would basically the bile sludge happens. It's like there's so many different ripple effects.
Yeah, it's all the stuff they don't tell you about.
Well, that's the thing,
or
right?
They don't even know is going to happen.
That's right. That's right. It's
this is just things you've seen as a dietitian over the years, working with people who have done these diets, and consistently they have these results. Yeah. Or side effects, I guess.
Yeah, and then if they say that it worked, but then they're 20 pounds more now or 30 pounds more, it's kind of like, well, did it work?
Yeah.
Maybe short term, but that's not health. That's not good living. That's not good future, like longevity. Like it's really not good for your health if you're doing these yo-yo diets where you lose a bunch and then gain it all back, and then your health suffers. And, it's amazing to see, but we know that like the Mediterranean diet or the Mayan diet we've talked about a lot. So it's whole, minimally processed foods. The sugars in those foods totally fit in a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Yeah.
So hopefully that answers the question. What is the difference between natural and added sugars, and do they affect my body the same way?
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. It's one of those things, it's good to hear it multiple times because it is a bit confusing, and the same with the fat conversation we had a few weeks ago too. That stuff's confusing for people. So it's good to hear it multiple times. So if you want more information about what we're doing or just more nutrition information, we have tons of stuff on our website. It's mywifethedietitian.com. We've got a great blog, lots of articles, lots of media articles, a whole bunch of information there. So go and check that out. If you haven't been to our website, check it out. You can join up for our free weekly newsletter on the website as well. That's something that we've been doing for over a year now. Lots of information in that coming out once a week as well. We've got recipes, nutrition tips, updates, all sorts of things like that. So join up for that while you're there. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It would also be great if you could rate and review our show. That keeps things going for us here. It's also great to hear some feedback from our listeners to know that we are on the right track, giving you what you want, the kind of information that you're interested in. And yeah, it's nice to hear how we're doing. Also share with your friends. That's super helpful for us, and it's nice to share. I'm sure your friend would appreciate hearing about a great show. If you're liking it, that would be awesome to share. That is it for today. We will be back next week with another full episode. So until then, have a fantastic week, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.